Hey everybody, welcome to the stream. Shiny Esper, Space Frostbite, Fox and Boxin, Innocent Sinful, Starling, and Revival Jan have all gotten the chat started. And I've been hanging out in the snow this morning. I actually just realized I'm still wearing my boots, so I'm going to take those off. But yeah, oh thank you, Fox and Boxin says they like my outfit. I wanted to be cozy and feel cute while I don't know, having a snow day. Decided to document it a little bit. So today's craft is something that was voted on Twitter, which is these awesome flowers that I made. I actually made these in my hotel room at DragonCon, which is why they're just kind of like, they don't have as many leaves as I want, and I really want to kind of improve the idea and expand it a little bit. So that's what I'm hoping that I can do in this stream when I make another one and show you guys just generally how I went about the process. But the basis for this is a little bit of crochet, a little bit of felting with wool, which is how I got these leaves and this general like fluffy stem. And it's a set of fairy lights that are set inside of cocoons. These are little silk cocoons, which I got from Paradise Fibers. These are cocoons from actual silkworms that went inside to transform. And I believe they are enjoyed as a delicacy. Like, I'm pretty sure the actual silkworms were eaten. And so this is a byproduct of that, which is just the cocoons. So you can get these online. I got them, I think, on Amazon, or maybe I ordered from the website. I don't really remember. But that is what we're starting with. You can also get them at Daiso and like in some beauty supply stores. I saw them at Daiso being sold as, why do I have a bottle cap in there? Being sold as some kind of beauty product where you like are supposed to stick your finger inside and then use it as a little scrubby to wash your face or something like that. It's some sort of like skincare specialty product they sell it as. And so, yeah, I don't know if I would, I don't know if it has any real special benefits in that sense, but they make really cool little lampshades for fairy lights. So that's what I'm going to end up doing with them today. And the other thing that I have collected is I have some like super thin wool yarn that has like a cool shiny bits in it. Like there's both gold and silver metallic threads that are kind of a part of it. This is what I basically used to cover in the same way that I did crochet around the cord yesterday. I used this type of yarn to crochet around the stem and then began felting into that so that I had a base that was like kind of pre-wrapped around the, there's a wire in here. So the other thing that I've acquired besides all of this yarn is some actual wool roving. This is wool fiber like from a sheep that's been dyed, and it's fluffy and woolly, and you can sculpt with it using felting needles, and so that's what I'm going to be doing today. I have a couple different colors that I might try to blend them and see what I can do with that. But otherwise, I am going to just start putting this together and show you guys what I'm doing as I go along. I think this was left over from something else that I made. I crocheted this together. I wonder what I should do with that. Make it into a little shape. Anyway, oh, not the poor sheep. The sheep are fine. The sheep are well cared for. But I have, I also got this at Daiso, and I wanted to just show it because I was so pleased that these felting supplies were so easily available. So if you have a Daiso near you, which I know a lot of people like to go there and just shop for cute little household goods, but they were selling wool felt in the craft section. I think there were 3 colors in here and I already pulled one out. But here's the 2 remaining colors that they give you for just like, I think it's like $1.50 or something in their store. So cool. And the other thing that I got to start with is just a set of fairy lights. These I ordered online to get them in bulk because I wanted to have a bunch for, you know, for general fairy purposes, like I have. But these are just your typical inexpensive fairy lights that is a wire with a bunch of little lights on it. What brand are they? I don't remember. They came in a box, but the actual package here has no name on them. Sorry about that. But they were one of the, I think I just got them on Amazon. They were one of the cheap options. I also have a couple of jars so that I can use one of these to like plant the fairy flowers in. I think. That looks so weird because it's like so huge. Maybe this one. But I need to decide exactly what my little flower is going to look like. And I actually forgot to look at my other stems. No, I don't think I have anything over there that I was looking at some of my other flowers, sorry, fake flowers in my collection. I don't think I have anything over there that I really want to use for this, so I'm gonna pause on that actually. Okay, so to get started, I have some bases. I thought about using this that already has some stems on it, and these are wired. This is left over from like another floral. Oh, and I'm going to switch my camera now. I'm going to give you the overhead view now that I've done my little speech. This is one of the flowers that I had just like left over. Craft Closet Tour when. I could do one of those. I need to get more camera angles set up and then I have more to show you. These are also some just like basic plain stems. Oh, you know what? I'll probably use one of these because I think it's going to be a little bit simpler, and then I can graduate to a fancier one later if I want, since I'm sure I'll make more of these. But here we go. There's one stem and stem. Sure, let me just toss that aside. I thought I had more large stems. Oh, you know what? Here's more stems. Let me just glance around the fairy factory. Oh, this one's plain and boring. Although it does have some little separations up top. That could be helpful. This is what I'm working with. I'm basically just looking at the options for stems and then trying to figure out what kind of overall shape my flower is going to have. This one, I was going for a very simple, like, drapey flower look, but I was thinking that I might do one this time that's more straight up and like it has like more structure to it rather than being pulled down by gravity. So in the front view, it would look like this. Here for the overhead view, it would be more of a straight stem structure. You know, I like that. Okay, cool. I just talked myself into the plan. So there's this. But this is much longer and it's wired all the way through. What to do? Alright, I might end up going with this one anyway. What kind of tea do I have? Oh, I have coffee that's been like very milked down. Teacup Wife says, I love this style of lighted plants. It was so perfect for the elf walk. Yes, it was. The elf walk was super fun. So I made these for Dragon Con and then carried them in the elf walk, which is a random fan event that happens at Dragon Con, where people can show up to, it's basically like an elf parade, and we walk around singing and interacting with all of the other good citizens of Dragon Con. But the Lantern Elf Processional is what it's called, and I always have a lot of fun there. I'm going to use this long stem after all and kind of cut these up a little bit. Just a little bit. So this one will be bigger, I think, than the original one. Yes, I just did a whole argument all by myself. I just came to my own conclusion there. But yeah, they were very fun to bring during the elf walk because everybody's supposed to have a lantern during the elf walk because it kind of mimics the scene in Lord of the Rings where people, oh, sorry, not people, the elves are leaving, they're leaving Middle Earth and moving on, and this is a scene that happens, and so there's like a Dragon Con event that's dedicated to like recreating that kind of moment where the elves are all passing across the sea, and so yeah, it's a lot of fun. That's the point, is you just dress up like elves and walk around with lanterns and sing, you know, like you do. Okay, so now that I'm not in a hotel room rigging this together, oh, but because I needed a lamp, this ended up being my lamp. That's where I was going with that. It's for the elf walk. I was like, this looks like good lamp material. And it was. So, let me move some of this. Now that I'm not in a hotel room and I have access to all of my materials and supplies, hopefully I can make an even cooler little lamp for myself and show you how I do this as I go. I'll just put all of my random things away. Okay, I'm gonna end up needing one thing at a time. I'll have to put some holes in those later. Okay, so I am gonna end up crocheting around the stem in order to hide the stem and provide a base to start doing all the felting into. But on the original set of fairy lights, the first thing I did was just work with the lights themselves and kind of wind the wire around to create a little sculpture for the base of the flower. And since this one isn't going to be droopy, it's going to be upright flower, I am going to be relying more on this wire stem and then just using this to kind of ornament it instead of having the wire for these lights be the body of the flower like on this one, which is why they're so flimsy, I guess. But yes, these are very much mood lights. You know, you're not going to see a lot of light out of them, but they're still going to look pretty cool, I think. So now I get to decide. Basically, every single one of these little lights is going to be inside of a cocoon bud. So in order to make that possible, I need to bend them and move them, like to create, let's see. These already have holes in them because these are the leftover ones. I took extra with me to Dragon Con. So this is a little cocoon, just like the other ones, that already has a hole punched in the back that I can thread the light into. So the idea is I needed to take each one of these little lights. I guess I can turn this on so it's a little easier to see. Yeah. So each one of these little lights gets shoved inside the cocoon hole. Yay! And the cocoon hole then becomes a little lampshade for the light inside of it. And the rest is just decorative to make it look like a flower. So, I need to basically shape this wire at least a little bit so that the lights are protruding, and it will give me that ability to put them in the cocoon. You watch Lord of the Rings every year around Christmas, says Space Frostbite. That sounds like a nice tradition. It's a good gather around the whole family and put on Lord of the Rings. Okay, so this just kind of, here we go. This is what I'm doing, creating little sections of the lights, sectioned off, and then I twist the wire around itself at least once so that it's not gonna just immediately fall apart. So it snowed a lot more overnight. I had mentioned yesterday that it was supposed to be a snow day, but it was a kind of weak snow day. And then I woke up today and it was a much, much better snow day. So I immediately like went out and, well, I started getting ready so that I could go and take some little snow pictures. I only got a couple, but it was still a nice little exercise. So that was what kept me. Normally I would have tried to stream a little bit earlier today, but instead I was out frolicking in the snow, taking photos. So, you know, just doing artsy stuff. It was kind of nice because I've been wanting to go and do more photography stuff, but I haven't really had enough of an excuse, or rather I just haven't taken time to prioritize it, I guess you could say. So when I saw snow on the ground this morning, I was just like, my time has come. I must use this, do something. So it was a nice exercise since I've been trying to get more into like self-shooting photography, which is a really big trend now for cosplayers and things. And so, yeah, that's what I'm just kind of taking baby steps in that direction, but I am gradually continuing to do more of the things that have been on my plate for a while now. So yeah, feels good, man. Feels good to keep being creative and get back to it. Yeah, this is the first snow that we've seen all winter. It was pretty light yesterday when it was, or 2 days ago. Anyway, it finally was a little bit more earnest coverage today. And so my car is completely snowed over out there, but it's okay. I didn't have anywhere to go. Well, I guess the post office, but that can wait. Hey, Petty, welcome. Still recovering from skiing. Oh, that sounds really nice. Yeah, when I went out, or when I saw the snow out this morning, it was still currently coming down, and it was like very, very light and fluttery and like just idyllic and charming. And so I opened the door and let Aries out, and just to let him, to see if he wanted to go and do anything. I gave him the option. Here's my full stem. This is really long. I probably won't use the whole thing of this stem, but I'm going to start from the top so that I have the option of using it as much of it as I want. Okay, so with this stem, I'm going to start at the top, and then I'm going to start basically just attaching the lights to the stem. I'm going to use a little bit of hot glue in this process, but also just kind of like twist it around. I'm going to take this little guy off. Come on. And see, and we'll see how much I end up eating. But I have my hot glue gun at the ready. Which means I should also get out my little finger covers before I start burning myself. Hello, Queena. Snow is for sure an aesthetic, so I had to get some aesthetic shots when I saw it out on the ground today. My workspace is a little bit chaotic, but I do have all of my stuff lined up for this. Yeah, the finger covers are very convenient. I'm pretty sure they're also a Plaid product. I could be wrong, but pretty sure. I've had these for a while. Okay, yeah, so just a tiny dab of hot glue. I don't need to glue this whole thing on everywhere. I just need a little bit, a few anchor points here and there, basically. And then, of course, this is going to end up just in my way, but that's okay. All right, that'll work for now while I put a little bit more glue anchor points on. Being a little bit more conservative with the hot glue this time, since it'll all be covered. And this is just like kind of the core of the little plant sculpture. Yeah, it's working nicely. Okay, so I just put one here. I'm gonna use the parts of this stem to, what am I trying to say? I'm gonna use the stem. That's that. So this plant will have a little bit more structure just because the stem itself has a little bit more character instead of just being plain. How do I need this? Now I'm just talking to myself. Yes, thanks for being here. More mods, Mr. Karofsky and Puina are all here. Thank you guys. No finger glue covers, we glue our fingers like men. Yeah, I've been there. I've been there. I have many scars, many wounds from years of no finger covers. Okay, I'm gonna undo this a tiny bit. Sorry for my camera. I can't figure out what I'm doing or where, but that's alright. Trying to be careful not to twist this so much that I end up breaking the little bitty wires. Okay, I think that will work. Just trying to determine the best way to like get it all wrapped around the stem, but I'm probably just overthinking it and need to put some glue on it and it'll be fine. So there's a little bit of glue and then my finger cover. Just smooth it down around everything. Beautiful. Above average Adrian, glad you could make it. Where do I want this one coming down? On the other side. Yeah. Alright, you're gonna have to bear with me while I just like chill with this. You know, sometimes you just gotta chill on it. A little bit more glue. Like you really mean it. I like having the finger covers so that I can just mash them down into this glue and have no worries. Cool. Hot Cross Bunnies says, totally loving these crafting streams while I don't have the means to be artsy myself. I'm glad to hear that. I'm sorry that, I'm not glad to hear that you don't have the means to be artsy yourself. I hope that you are able to be artsy in your own time very soon. But I'm glad that I can provide some kind of service for you in the meantime. That was what I meant. Sorry, that came out really weird. Okay. Looking good. I did not have hot glue in my hotel room when I originally made the Dragon Coneflowers. I just winged it. That's why these will be better, I hope. Oh, I didn't actually want to glue this down. I wanted to go back up. Okay. And this one needs to come untwisted a little bit while I find a spot for it. Perfect. Okay, yeah, I made it to the tip of this other stem. That's what I'm trying to say. So I actually will need a little bit more hot glue here because I applied too much force. So we're gonna rethink that. Let it know who's boss. Hey Dark Wolf Hero, welcome. Oh yes, Puina, yes please. I'm sorry, I forgot to ping at streams, so but please feel free to do that if you can. Do it in the announcements channel. If not, just whatever. Or put it in stream crafts, or the stream chat maybe. But yes, please do. I'm supposed to have a bot that alerts my Discord members when I go live, but I'm still figuring out how to get it to at the group of people who opted into that. So, you know, I'll work on that. But one of my mods is on top of it. Thank you, Puina! Alright. Speaking of, if you're not a member of the Discord, check it out. I think it's really fun. We've had a lot of great activity lately. People are sharing basically their own fantasy moments and love of nature. So that includes a lot of art and fashion and pictures of walking through the woods. And it's a very calming and wholesome place where a lot of people come together to kind of share things that, you know, help you get through this chaotic world. So maybe that's a bit over dramatic way of describing it, but it's a very wholesome community that's been really good for me in terms of just like encouragement and support. So thank you guys for being a part of such an amazing Discord, and if you are not a part of it, you should check it out because I think it's a really enjoyable place for everyone. But there's a lot of foresty crafts there and all kinds of people to talk to about elves and fairies and making flowers, fairy flowers out of cocoons. Or whatever. Whatever you're into. Alright, I'm starting to get this. Now that I'm past the like initial more complicated part, I'm able to just curl it around a little more easily, have a little more control over everything. Alright, going back to this back side, I'm going to put a little more glue on it, but yes, you can see now that my lights follow the pattern of the stems to where I tried to place them like at the ends or just strategically overall so that it has a little bit more of a flower shape to it. Could probably be a little bit more liberal with my hot glue application because it is supposed to have a little bit more body to it, but we'll see. Okay. The Discord is the best. Thanks! I'm glad that we have so many Discord fans here. Oh, you guys both posted the link like simultaneously. I would say let me make a command for the link so you don't need to copy paste each time. Oh, I'll have to fiddle with a Nightbot too. We're gonna get there. One of these days I'll have like a fully functioning stream setup and Discord, and then no one will be able to stop me when I reach my full power and actually utilize these platforms correctly. Oh my gosh. You just leave the page open so you never miss a stream? I admire you for that dedication. Thanks, Dark Wolf. Anyone can join the Discord. Yeah, the Discord is pretty much public. Like the general overall theme is called the Forest Dwellers. So the overall theme is about, you know, loving this kind of forest style and nature creations and, you know, fantasy and things like that is what the Discord really celebrates. But within that, there's room for everybody to join and appreciate it. Like, you know, that's the overall kind of like theme that draws us together. But there's a whole bunch of different types of people in there, people of all ages. It's a I guess a PG rated community. We don't have anything that's explicit or adult in there, so just a heads up for anybody who's interested in joining. But the idea is people sharing their artistic experiences together, and I don't know, it's been really fun for me so far. Omnipotent Heidi scares you, as she should. You know, I should probably separate these out a little bit more. At least I finally got the hang of turning my wire, or turning the stem instead of trying to move everything else. I'm starting to run out of space. I have to get to these other pieces. These other stems need to be included. And I'm just gonna keep moving things around to make it fit. I enjoy all of the different types of posts in the group, though. Within one, Tiger is talking about littering the forest floor with her cooking posts. I think she's just talking about making so many posts in her cooking channel, but I love it because I don't know anything about cooking, and so now I have people to help instruct and guide me in my newbie ways of getting better at feeding myself. So yeah, it's very wholesome and beneficial. I enjoyed the food photos too, even though I don't have anything to contribute. One of these days I'll make something food-wise to make you guys proud. All right. Just gluing away my little lights and stems. I'm surprised I haven't burned myself yet with my chaotic usage of this little finger cover. That's for the best, though. Here we go. I'm going to pull this down first. That'll help. And then let it bend back up. Alright, what's going on here? Is that cotton at the tips? They look like plastic balls. These are cocoons. They're made by silkworms turning into silk moths. And they hang out inside of these for a while, and then people eat them. People cut open the cocoons, eat the moths, or eat the pupas, I guess, and then sell their beautiful little homes for me to turn into lamps. You just forgot about the silkworms. Hey, Sinkless. Aren't you in a late night time zone right now? Thanks for showing up for the stream. Alright, now I managed to place this next light up at the top, which is perfect. I'm gonna untwist this one a little bit and give myself some more space. Right. Yeah, I'm excited to be going through a variety of new crafts here. I'm going to continue revisiting some of the projects that I started last week, like the forest floor rug, as well as painting more mini houses. That will continue to be regular content. But at least for the beginning, I'm going to be cycling through various crafts to give kind of a sampling of different stuff that I want to do on this channel. So I thought that this made a really cool little one-off example craft. I'm not sure if I'll do it all in one stream or if I'll do like another two-parter, but I guess it just depends on my energy levels here. That worked beautifully, actually. Smoothing it down with the little fingy. Okay. I think I got the sniffles from going out in the snow earlier, but it was worth it. Alright, I hope I have enough to make it all the way down to the other the other last remaining stem here, but I guess I could also cut it off if it becomes a problem. I saw a little bit of flickering. Hopefully I don't mess up my fairy lights. Everybody pray for me. Your cat would try to play with them. I'm lucky that Aries is extremely well behaved. He's a young gentleman who knows not to mess with my stuff. Alright, let's see if we're gonna make it. I think I might be able to get the very last one up there. Yeah, just like barely. I mean, count it. Whatever, it'll work. Because we'll have these, we'll untwist them a little bit. Yeah, it's gonna work just fine. Cool. So this is all still the sculpting stage. I probably could have tried to save a little bit more wire length, but I wasn't sure what to expect with this size. I'll get the hang of it as I continue to make more. Good evening, Uncreative Automaton. Welcome to the stream. I guess it's not quite evening for me yet. Yeah, it's only 4 p.m. here, but that's, you know, Pacific Coast. Alright, we have most of a stem down. That's nice. This is faster than my last attempt at this. Yep, that'll be perfect. Perfect length, and then this remaining wire will just become part of the stem and then hang out down there. Hopefully I can cover it with some leaves. I think I'm gonna try to redesign the whole thing to be more leafy. And then that will also be functional here. Hi Nebula Kitsune. What's the music that's playing? It is linked below in the info box. It is Radio Cutman. I love this channel. It's a non-stop streaming YouTube channel that plays cool video game remixes and stuff. So you should go check that out. There's a link straight to it in the description box. Come on. There we go. Alright, now I'm just going to glue that bad boy in place. Oh, it's unseasonably warm where you are. Chill lo-fi hip-hop beats to craft to. That's pretty much what it is. I mean, it's great for doing all kinds of things too. That's what I'm always using it for. I need some lo-fi hip-hop beats to craft to. Thanks, Puina. Thank you. She just shared, one of her mods, Puina, just shared the link straight in the chat, so you can easily go check that out. There's a little bit more glue to hold this in place. Ah, come on. Go back. Go back to the other side. Wow, amazingly still haven't burned myself, even though I do have glue on my fingers now. Quick question, was the green chest to the left of my text bar? I don't know. What are you talking about? Your goal this year is to get a goose and give it a large bell. You mean like an actual goose on your farm? Because that sounds amazing. Please give us a cosplaying goose with a large bow and a bell. That sounds wonderful. I almost need a new glue stick, but not quite. Alright, so we're just, once again, smoothing this down into place. We'll let it give it a second to set. And I want to untwist this too. Here we go. Oh yeah, there you go. Okay, Revival Jan has your explanation in the chat. Sinkless. Yeah, I'm still familiarizing myself with all of the little Twitch options where that will allow you to have little perks in the chat and talking and all that. Alright, I'm going to take a quick little step away and grab myself some tea because I'm not drinking my hot coffee. But I'm going to leave this chilling and I'll be right back. Give me just a moment. BRB.
You're listening to Radio Cutman.
I am back. Yes, actually green tea. Well, just like canned green tea, but you know, it's good. Yeah, I didn't have to brew anything. Okay. So I'm going to add at least a little bit more hot glue to the bottom part of the wire, just to make sure that it's nice and secure. Oops. That happened too quickly. Hey there, let your heart fly. Welcome. Oh, that's actually fine. Alright, I globbed some glue onto it. Sometimes that's all you need. Okay, so now we have our decked out stem, which is pretty much a straight stem with different little sections coming off of it. Switching on and off. I don't think I need my hot glue anymore, at least not for now, so I'm going to turn that off and set it aside. Everyone's talking about tea now. Alright, what's your favorite tea? Let us know in the chat. Okay, so the next step for going from here to here is to start covering the stem. In this case, I'm going to be using the same yarn, and I'm going to begin crocheting just like I did in the last stream. Let me get my little crochet hooks. Hopefully don't fall off my stool this time. So far, so good. I'm gonna need a little bitty crochet hook. Like, not one of those. Where? Where's my little bitty one? That could work, maybe. Probably one of those. Okay. Put other hooks away. My little crochet hook holster over here. Okay. So I'm going to start at the top once again and begin crocheting just like I did yesterday, with the goal of covering this whole stem. It's going to be pretty time consuming because the thing is so long. So I'll start here. And then I already foresee this becoming a mess, but I'm going to do my best. Okay. Actually just tied it onto the top, and now I'm going to go along, oops, and very carefully do tiny crochet stitches along the length of this stem. And as I do that, the entire thing is going to become covered in this green yarn. This is so much smaller than the stuff I was working with yesterday. I'm going to end up going a lot slower. Or maybe I'll get better. You'll be able to see me improve during the course of the stream. I forgot the name. It was surface slip stitch, I think is what Prina called it. Alright. Off to a good start. But this basically gives the felted wool, something to grip onto, so I'm not trying to wrap loose wool around just like a stiff little wire, because that sounds like a pain in the butt. So instead of that, I'll have some crocheted yarn to kind of grip into when I start adding more felted fiber. Ooh. Doing this by like hotel lamplight in bed was a lot harder, I will say that. Ooh. You can see just the top of it, at least, is starting to be a thing. I've tried to move things around for a little bit more of a view. DragonCon was a rough time, but I was still crafting in my hotel room. Not because I needed to, just because I didn't want to go down to the con, so I just like chilled in my room and made one of these guys and then carried it down on Sunday. And it was the best time I had at DragonCon was at the Elf Walk, so worth it. Okay, this gets pretty delicate. Sorry I'm like moving it around constantly, but it does require careful angling, I guess, just to try to keep everything nice and even. And so I also attach the cocoons themselves with felting. And so I'm going to end up like pushing wool fiber down through the cocoon and into this yarn. And so that's the point of why I take the time to cover all of the stems first. Sorry, I'm going off screen a little bit. I need more patience with this, honestly. Alright, got it. I did at least that little top one that was a big pain in the butt. Cool! And I'll just keep flopping my stem around while I work on this. That's okay. Which hotel is the best to stay in at DragonCon? The Hyatt. Hyatt is the best, because there's good parties and also enough peace and quiet in the Hyatt. I'm going to try this slightly larger crochet hook and see if I have less issues with it. Because this is already little bitty. You go camping, but you're far from any woods. Well, you can camp in other environments, assuming that you've got something around you. How many bags do you have to take with you when you want to do some crafting abroad? Well, I only take little tiny projects if I'm going to be traveling, because I don't want to have to... I would bring like a little embroidery project, or this literally fit into like a little plastic Ziploc bag. So it wasn't like I was hauling around suitcases full of sewing machines. But, you know, sometimes you just can't help yourself and you need to make sure you have a little bit of hands-on crafting time in between your sightseeing or whatever. I don't know, I don't really travel very often anymore. song is my jam. Alright, time for the next side. You know this song from the station or just from whatever it's originally from? How are the parties like? I mean, I guess it depends on what parties you go to. I didn't really party this Dragon Con. I went to like one party. It was a good one. Alright, here we go. Again, got a little bit more momentum now. It's weird having to like do crochet in the round and like figuring out how to wrap around all of these tiny little pieces, but gotta figure it out. Do you know about the MagFest wizards? I've known friends that used to do wizard costumes where they would walk around collecting beer cans that they had drank and make wizard staves out of them. Are you talking about that? Because that happens at various conventions and or parties and or I don't know. It's just sort of like a meme, I guess. I don't know. Can I make a headband version of this? Probably. It would have a battery pack hanging off of it, but you can find some sort of way to hide that or minimize it. Here we go. This is a better angle for working more on the crochet. The beer wizards and warriors are at ASEN as well. Yeah, I feel like it's like a great national tradition. But yeah, I've partied with some party wizards at Dragon Con before in years past. I had friends that went as party wizards. You know what? Maybe I should just cut off my extra stem now so that it's not as in the way. I think I would be fine with keeping it this long. Here, I'm gonna swap camera lengths so you guys can, or camera views. So this is the full length. This is where the battery pack is hanging. I can't make that any lower. But if I cut it here, I just slapped myself in the face. That's pretty decent length for this little kind of flower. I'm gonna go one longer just in case I can't, one section longer, in case I change my mind later. So this is extra. Alright, that makes this a little bit easier to work with, where I have less of the extra length flopping around and I can show it a little bit better. So now this is the total length of the project. And I have a little bit more maneuverability. Okay, back to overhead camera because I think that shows the actual crochet a little bit better. Where do I buy my materials? All over the place. Actually, does it show the actual crochet better? Do you guys want to stay on face cam for a little while? You can sort of see what I'm doing. But we can chat better probably this way. Where do I buy my materials was the question. A lot of the time thrift stores, or if I'm buying something in bulk, I'll find a place to buy it online. There aren't a lot of really good craft stores in my area, so it's a lot of like scrounging to find interesting things that I can recycle, plus just whatever I buy online, pretty much. Yeah, I think we'll keep face cam for a little bit, and that way we're just chatting, as they say. Oof. There we go. Now I have this next one. I'm on my like 4th little light or something. That's pretty convenient. Chat better, please. Cool, I'll try. Thrift stores are a very nice place to buy certain things. For sure, it's where I get a lot of my yarn, as I've mentioned multiple times. Just because it's, when you're getting secondhand crafting things, it's usually cheaper. You don't have any control over what you find, but that's also part of the charm of it, where you're just like finding interesting things and doing whatever you can with it. I really like making recycled art in general, or like working with recycled materials in general. Is something that really inspires me as an artist. And so even when I have the option of going and buying whatever kind of like more expensive thing, or if I needed to go to a, unless I'm getting something really specific, I enjoy the process of finding something at random in like a secondhand store more than I enjoy going out and shopping for you know, at full price for any object in the store. It's more about the random chance of like, oh, this is so unique and interesting, instead of like, oh, I just only want the best materials all the time. So yeah, I don't have like a particular single, I just got all twisted around. I don't have like a particular favorite source for anything. Unless you have a question about a specific type of craft supply, because I'm sure I would have an opinion on that. Flea markets are great too. Yeah, I haven't been to as many of those. Is your necklace a little glass acorn, as Singless Linkus is asking? No, it is a little piece of amethyst. I got it at a run fair last summer in Wisconsin, actually. When I went to see some friends in Chicago, and then they're like, oh, we're going to the Ren Fair, which is the next state over. I didn't even realize how close we were. Okay, moving on to the next section. Amethyst, heck yes. Oh yeah, it was Bristol Ren Fair. So I went there with some friends. I went to go visit the Art of Wigs people. We did a really cool photo shoot. That was when I had the flower elf, which is the same costume I wore with these fairy flowers. Yes, we got our emote in the chat. I'm working on more emotes. I mentioned it yesterday, but we have... Oh, I saw some prototypes today that one of the artists was sending me some sketches and going over color options for the fairy house emote. So that one is on its way and should hopefully be ready soon. Although it takes a little bit of time to get those emotes approved. Dang it, this one is just like giving me trouble. I need to like calm down, back up a little bit, and make these stitches tighter. Alright, let me do that. Thank you guys for chilling with me while I make this happen. There we go. That's much better. But yeah, I enjoyed my trip to Chicago a lot. That was the first time I've ever really spent time in that city. And so I got to walk around and see several different places and just see friends. That was something I really needed over the summer. Chill vibes only. That is correct. That is the standard for Heidi streams. Chill vibes only. I don't have time to be excitable. Got art to make. It gets really hard to wrap things around properly after a while. Here we go. Oh no, I accidentally caught the wrong strand. It's a little bit chaotic to crochet like this sometimes. And this particular yarn also likes to catch on itself, so you know, I kind of have a... I didn't sign up for easy mode today. It's a bummer. It's okay. Alright. Continuing onward down the stem. Got some progress going now. Yeah, okay. We're in a better place now. No time for wild vibes. Did I try the deep dish pizza? No, I didn't. But I did have quite a bit of Dunkin' Donuts, which is not something that we have on the West Coast. Dunkin' is East Coast, and like Starbucks is West Coast. Although really Starbucks is like everywhere. You like my makeup today? Thank you. I don't normally put on like a full face for a stream, but I tried to take some pictures earlier, so I was like, well, I guess. So yeah, when I say take pictures, I mean like I got my whole tripod out and like went outside with a little self-timer remote and then like tried to do a little photo shoot, which was not my best work compared to others when I have an actual photographer with me, but it was more for like the experience of like, okay, I need to get into the habit of shooting by myself and just that being like more comfortable of a process. So even though I didn't stay out there for very long, I still got that done. I got at least, you know, a usable shot or two, and I can post something up. We don't have, we do have Krispy Kreme, but I don't really go there. But yeah, that was my morning, was like waking up to the snow and being like, well, I have to go out and do something in this snow, and then getting ready to stream. Oh, Tim Hortons? Yeah, I've heard Tim Hortons is amazing, but that's like Canada only, right? I'm pretty sure they don't have that anywhere in the US. I've had it in Canada, and it's, you know, it's good. It's a nice little breakfast place. I'm all about breakfast. I'm a breakfast connoisseur, actually. Alright, we're getting there. This is definitely the most annoying part of this project. I'm just trying to put even more stitches right around where the light itself hits so that I can use that to felt into when I'm attaching the little cocoon shades. Alright, what did I miss? Revival Jam saying, in the US there are Tim Hortons in New York, Pennsylvania, and a few states in the northern Midwest. Alright, well today I learned that Tim Hortons does exist in the US, just not where I am. Oops. See, those of you guys who were saying I was good at crochet yesterday, now you know the truth, is that I'm really not. Oh, I like lost my place again while I was making fun of myself. Alright, so it goes. Figured it out though. You wonder if Aries steals the gloves out of the laundry? Not really. He's pretty good. I'm surprised he didn't come down at all yesterday, and today he's definitely sleeping. I don't know if he'll be down here later. I guess it depends on how long I stream for. But when I went upstairs to get my tea, he was asleep. He does not care for the snow. Snow days are not his jam. Oh, so close. I always like I start to get you know, the pace going on this crochet and then I'll miss a stitch. Because the yarn is so like fuzzy that there's all kinds of fibers coming off of the surface that just make it obnoxious. That's okay. Our king needs his rest. That's right, he does. He's an old man. You know, like let him get his rest. Okay, now the angles are getting a little bit more annoying because I'm like in the middle of the stem. I'm going to slow down slightly and try to use my table to my advantage. Okay. Okay, got it. Ugh, no, it's like weird baggy stitches. I will not stand for it. Oh, that's in another part. Okay, cool. Well, then it's already messed up. Yeah, it's just a single stitch going around the stem, but it has to be like reasonably thorough all the way down, so... Luckily, it'll get felted on top of, so if there's any like holes or whatever, they'll end up disappearing. How old is Aries? Aries is almost 13. He's 12 right now. He'll be 13 on March 1st. And we're having a birthday party for him here on Twitch. So mark your calendars. What kind of food does he like to eat? He eats canned cat food. Lately he's been really picky and he doesn't want anything with chicken in it, so I've had to switch to getting only the fish kind. Thanks for the sub! Oh, that's an anonymous gifter gifted a random sub to the community. That's their name, is an anonymous gifter on Twitch. Thank you, anonymous gifter, for your drive-by gift, which was received by Space Frostbite. There you go. That's so cute. What a wonderful and wholesome way to spread some positivity and support. And hey, I appreciate another sub. Oh yeah, that's still on my to-do list, is to change my, Do we just see a ghost or something? Yeah, it kind of feels like it. I need to change my alerts to have something special for you guys. I'm working on that. Will he pass his kingship upon a loyal subject? You mean like, will he come and bless us with his presence? I don't know. It's on him. He makes his own decisions. We're just like roommates, you know? Like, he's just... I mean, he contributes nothing, but I still like having him around. See, we're almost... maybe like 40% of the way down this little stem. Does he wake me up in the morning? Usually not. He's pretty respectful of my sleeping and my desired hours. Although he gets really antsy when I wake up and lay in bed but don't go feed him right away. He's like, "Hey, excuse me, I am hungry, ma'am," and will get in my face, but other than that, he doesn't really wake me up. I tend to wake up naturally at decently early times. Way earlier than I used to wake up, at least. Like, typically between 7 and 8 a.m., depending on how late I stay up the night before. Gotta respect the cat hunger, or the hunger cat, yeah. He's a real brat when it comes to just demanding things when he wants them, but, you know. Other than that, he's the ideal companion. Hey, Danny Emblem. I'm glad you made it to our stream today. And it's a fun one. I'm enjoying this. Oops. I say right before I slip my stitch again. I thought I saw him, but it was just my imagination. Perhaps one day the king will visit his subjects again. There we go. I wanted to tighten it on this end. Pardon my concentration real quick. I'm struggling past another little problem spot, and then chat time. Oh, you like my makeup today? Thank you. Somebody else said that. That makes me feel like, alright, maybe I should put more effort in on a regular basis. I just didn't want to end up feeling like I have to do a whole face every day when I'm streaming, where it's just like, I'm just hanging out with you guys. You can see my real face. But I also like putting on makeup to feel a little bit more like ready to meet the world. Alright. Yeah, makeup is a really fun tool. I definitely agree with you where some days I'm like, oh, fun, makeup. I'm going to paint a whole other face on top of my face. And then most days I'm just like, I don't have time for this. So yeah, I don't ever want to like get to the point where I feel like, oh no, I can't be seen by anyone because I'm not, made up. Because I think that can lead to an unhealthy mindset. Not necessarily everybody who wears makeup daily, but it's possible. And for me, I just didn't want to get into the habit of feeling like I'm not dressed if I'm not wearing makeup. And so it's kind of different for me to even be putting it on you know, on the days that I'm streaming, but it's okay. I've actually grown more comfortable with it and I've gotten faster. So it has its benefits too because I'm practicing makeup. So, you know, I'm sure that will be good for on days when I'm doing a photo shoot and then I haven't done my makeup in months and I'm like, oh, oops, I'm really out of practice. Now I have a really tight little intersection here, so we'll see how I do on this part. Just gonna keep twirling this stick all around until I get the angles that I want. Okay, I have a little bit more leverage now. Don't poke myself at the end of the stick. I haven't done that yet, at least not, you know, unintentionally. So hopefully I can maintain this through the stream, not harming myself on accident with my craft item. When crafts become deadly. Wow, I can't believe that I've actually gotten this far in a relatively short amount of time. It's been an hour and a half of this stream where I'm got my stem underway. Just because this type of crochet is very tedious, it takes a while. I'm just trying to cover a small yarn over a larger surface area. Craft back. I've been enjoying trying to find like what's my vibe with like foresty makeup, like Mori girl makeup. And I think there's a lot of different ways to do that, but it's been something that has been on my mind when I'm doing my makeup now. I'm like, okay, how can I make myself look vaguely like a little deer? So on this side, I've got to go up and down on these like larger stems, back and forth. And so I have like, I'm like basically passing over the same area twice in that sense, and it allows me to get a little bit better coverage. Full contact figure scatting? Oh my gosh. I know you meant skating, but you typed scatting, which is full contact, huh? Sorry, I had to troll you a little bit, Jan. Sometimes it's hard to push through the initial feeling of dissatisfaction, but once you keep actually going, it actually turns out better than you'd hoped. Says Danny, and yeah, I agree. I've got a little bit of a tangle here, but... Oh, you're talking about jazz scatting. Okay, that's cool. Sorry, I forgot you're a big fan of jazz. That makes more sense. Carry on. Although, you know, figure skating. Aries! Thought I heard some movement. It could have just been my stuff moving on my desk. Oh, you just misspelled and you're trying to cover your ass. Okay, that makes sense. I believe that. Unfortunately, I will not be at KatsuCon this year. I had originally hoped that I might be able to pull that off, but nah. Just a heads up, because I met Janet at KatsuCon a couple years ago. So I officially canceled my hotel there. Will not be there, but I hope that everybody has fun. I just need to be doing other things. Oh, you can't go either? It happens, it happens. I am, however, looking forward to not having any kind of KatsuCon anxiety this year. I didn't go last year either, but I didn't know whether I would be going until like right before the event, so there was still a fair share of like, oh, should I be doing something more? And then still nothing. It's a fun con. What is KatsuCon? It's a big convention that happens in the DC area every February. And it's just one of the larger conventions of the beginning of the year. And so for cosplayers, it's a place where a lot of people like to debut their big fancy outfits. It's also considered just like one of the more high-profile cosplay events because it happens in a really nice hotel. It's very, very beautiful. And so people will especially go there planning to do extravagant photo shoots in the environment. So I've really enjoyed it in the past couple of years. A lot of people find it like overly elite or competitive or whatever. That hasn't been a problem for me, but I can understand maybe it wouldn't be as casual of an environment. Winbleston subscribed for with Twitch Prime. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So it doesn't have the same kind of casual fun vibe as a lot of conventions. It's more of a hardcore cosplayers event, but that can still be really enjoyable depending on what your thing is, what you like to do. Okay. Oh, I'm just struggling so hard with this one knot. What is the thing? Okay. Oh, Wimbledon says I love my work. Thank you so much. That makes me really happy to hear. I appreciate that, and I love having people come hang out with me on Twitch while I am making more new things, so thank you for joining us and subscribing. Ever been starstruck at a con? You mean like because I ran into somebody that I was just like amazed to see them? I mean, I guess so. More so in like my early days of cosplay when I was meeting cosplayers that I really admired. But yeah, it's exciting to walk around and see really impressive things at the bigger conventions. I keep dropping this. So this is how you highlight, says some guy, TN, you figured it out. You got it. I don't really know very much about the mechanics of that either. Some have stage performance portions too. Oh yeah. Stars of Cassiopeia here in the chat talking about how fun it is to talk to other craftspeople who have done really like ambitious costume builds and stuff, and I completely agree. That's always my favorite thing about going to cons, is to go and interact with all of the other cosplayers and get excited about each other's work and share ideas. That was how I originally started making friends in the cosplay community, and originally it was from being in contests at cons, because that's where the more serious cosplayers would end up congregating. But I don't really do that anymore. Times have changed. It's also your favorite part of cons? Yeah, for sure. I understand why, because you get to go and just like nerd out about your art with other people who also get excited about making costumes and wearing them. And so to me, yeah, that's like more the costuming content of the convention that comes from interacting with other cosplayers and walking around and having those random conversations about, oh, how did you make this? That's such a cool idea, kind of thing. That ends up being like more appealing to me than any of the like planned or like provided content of the event where they're like, come to this panel or whatever. And so I definitely gravitate to the other artists at conventions where I'm just like, I just want to be there among my fellow craftspeople more so than I want to like actually attend the convention. Uh-oh, time for class again, says Danny. Alright, good luck. Love you too. Have fun in class if you can. Yeah, that's how I met most of my best friends in the cosplay community, was just by becoming involved in contests and showing up to the cons and specifically looking for other craftspeople that I could relate to. Because especially when I was a young cosplayer, I was just trying to make friends in the community who were doing what I was doing. And so my first like group of cosplay buddies in the Dallas area just kind of like came together because we had run into each other at a variety of conventions and we're like, hey, we should keep hanging out and, you know, have crafting parties and stuff. And so I feel very blessed to have those people still in my life, although I don't see them nearly as much anymore that I live on the other side of the country, but I still feel like that's one of the most rewarding things that I've gained as a cosplayer, is just the friendships with the other craftspeople that kept me going over the years. Same hat, big mood. You just want to talk to all the talented crafters, for sure. Oh, that's awesome. Stars of Cassiopeia is talking about the girl that she was next to in line for the last time she competed had ended up using the same type of silk, and they both, you know, had stuff to bond over in line, and yeah, that's like the most enjoyable part for me. It's been a long time since I competed, but when I did, I made a video about it. You can see that on YouTube. It's one of my first videos, when I was dressed as Samus. Alohi Doki subscribed at tier 1. Hi Alohi. I don't know if you're the Alohi that I already know, but if you are, then cool, and if you're not, then welcome. What if the real convention was all the friends we made along the way? For sure, of course it was. My favorite experience since I started selling my art at cons was actually at a local Ren fair. A little girl, maybe 4 or 5, made her mom ask for a pic of me because I was a real elf, says Mythic Phoenix. I totally love that. Yes, I agree with you. I'm not really a kids person. I don't feel like I know how to act around children, but I always find it so charming when children interact with me in costume, and so I make a point of, you know, being friendly with the kids and stuff, and make sure that I'm on my best behavior when little children are within earshot or eyesight. But yeah, I was doing a photo shoot here at a park with Lee Kovacs and some friends, and Lee was shooting, and it was a busy day and the weekend, I'm pretty sure, and so there were like, this was back in the summer too, there were like birthday parties and stuff happening at the park we were at, and there was like a tiny girl's birthday party happening, and people saw me walking around in like full elf costume, and they were like, "Are you here for the party? Are you working this party?" And I was like, "No, I'm just here in the park, dressed like this." But then on our way back to the car, several little kids actually did come over and ask me for photos just because I was dressed like a princess. And, you know, it didn't really matter. I was wearing the same costume that's in my starting soon picture, where it's the pink flowery elf girl. And so people, you know, the little kids didn't care if it wasn't like a Disney princess or somebody they recognized. They just like the look of this, you know, girl walking through the park wearing like a big fluffy wig and a gown. And so little kids get like, you know, enchanted by that and want to come over and interact and stuff. And so that's always really charming to me because I feel like I don't know what to do with myself most of the time. But then, I don't know, I just feel like, oh, the kids are all right. Okay, so now I've gotten through all of the worst parts of this, I'm pretty sure. I'm going to crochet all the way down the remaining stem and then back up, because that's going to be faster to go over it twice and just let the yarn kind of cover itself up than trying to do one more. It's better to do 2 rows around the same object than trying to get one really consistent row. I'm going to get better coverage with 2. So, yay, we're past the hardest and most tedious part of this, I think. Just an elf living my best elf life. Yeah, you know, as I do. Oh, you stepped down from KitsuneCon. That's unfortunate, but I hope that you had a nice experience with them. I loved that convention. I had a really great time. But yeah, it must be nice to get a change of pace, like Space Frostbite is saying. It was a good con. Good memories. Now I'm able to go a little bit faster now that I'm not fighting all of the same tiny details. Josen Boy says, or no, Jonas and Boy, I think I'm saying that right, saying that you were dating a girl who did a cosplay of Zelda and little kids kept running up to her and she always played along with it. One of the best memories ever. For sure. One year at Dragon Con, I was dressed as Zelda doing a big photo shoot, and random people walking by just handed me their baby to take a picture with, and I was like, what? First of all, they barely spoke English. They were random people on the streets of Atlanta. They were not visiting Dragon Con. Like, they were not attending Dragon Con. They were just randos. And they see, you know, hundreds and hundreds of people on the street in costume. And so it's clearly, you know, Dragon Con is practically like a block party. And so it wasn't, like, that bizarre that there's just, like, people out and about taking pictures of it and just enjoying it. But the fact that they're like, here's my baby, and because they didn't know very much English, they didn't explain to me what they wanted. They just walked up to me and handed me the child. Like, no words of like, oh, can you take a picture together? Because they didn't have that much English to put that sentence together. They were just like, oh, and handed me this baby and got their camera out and we're talking to each other and I think Spanish. And I was just like, okay. And like holding this baby really awkwardly. I think that might have been the youngest child I've ever held. So that was weird in and of itself. And there's a photo of this somewhere. I don't know if I ever posted it publicly, but it's myself as Zelda with then my friend dressed as Ganondorf looming over my shoulder with his hands like out. And someone was like, we need to Photoshop that baby green. But yeah, their child was fine. Luckily, I'm not a monster, and so, you know, it was fine, but I would not recommend handing your baby to random cosplayers that you meet on the street. Even if they're dressed like princesses, it does not make them trustworthy individuals. Oh, Jonathan. It's like Jonathan, but with a san. Okay, Jonathan boy. Got it. I'll remember that. Yes, I did not steal that baby and run off with it, or anything else untoward. Luckily I wasn't dressed as, like, Maleficent or something. It gives my mom's side so much anxiety, says above average Adrian. That's fair. I mean, they probably would have ran after me if I ran off with their baby, I assume. Oh, you're a germaphobe? Just, you're like, oh, I don't want to hand my baby to a random person who could be carrying anything. That's totally fair. It would have been extra good if I were Maleficent. I mean, if I were Maleficent, it would make more sense that they would want random baby photos. Zelda doesn't have a baby. I don't think they really cared. It's just that princess look that people get excited about when they have kids or are kids. That's true. I couldn't run very fast in that dress, although I do have nice practical boots under that gown, so, you know, it's not too bad. Because Zelda's in Smash, she's got to do some fighting. Boots under dresses is the best. Yes, it is. That's one of the few things that makes that costume comfortable. I have a hoop skirt and boots so that I can actually maneuver and walk around and not fear of falling. And the hoop skirt keeps the dress away from my legs, and so it's a lot more comfortable that way. I like how everyone is discussing the logistics of whether or not I could have gotten away with stealing the baby. Like, cool guys, cool chat. I didn't want the baby, okay? I was just making a joke. Alright, we're nearing the end of the stem, but I just slipped out of the stitch again. Okay. Could she have made it? Discuss. What speed would I need to maintain in a hoop skirt in order to get away with a baby on the streets of Atlanta? Discuss. The fairy lights are coming along. Back on topic. I'm doing pretty well on my crochet, getting down to the end. And then this will get more closely locked in place once we start felting it. But I like to do the crochet layer because it really gives it a foundation. Oh, that's awesome. Talking about getting, being able to go to Disneyland in costume once a year at the Christmas party or Halloween party. Yeah, that's the only time they let people in. See, I know that because as a cosplayer, that's the time of year that all of my friends go to Disneyland or Disney World just to try to get like in costume photos with whatever like scenery or other characters. But that's pretty cool getting like treated like the real deal at Disney. It's got to be pretty exciting. Ah, I'm stuck. Okay, I'm free. Yay, this is starting to look so nice and green and solid. This is probably going to end up being a two-parter just because I'm already a solid 2 hours in and I have not even gotten to my cocoons yet. But don't worry, I'll get there. I just want to make sure I make a nice finished flower for you guys. Today's been awesome. Today's been really uplifting for me. I got some cool weather, some nice friendly interaction here on the internet. Discord's going well. Got a lot of art projects ongoing there. Got to do my fairy house painting, emotes underway. So yeah, stuff's going really well in my corner of the world today. You made it to a stream! Pixel Lily. I always have to like lean forward and read that light green text, but it's okay, you're worth it. Everyone is so friendly and wholesome. That's what I think. I feel very, very lucky to have a community of wholesome people hanging out and sharing little bits and pieces from their lives. I wasn't sure what to expect because I wasn't very active on Discord before I made my own server. I had like a friend server that I was a part of, but it was pretty much a small thing. And so I feel like I got really lucky with finding really capable and trustworthy mods, which was a really big help in getting everything underway. And since then, we've had a lot of activity in our crafting channels from people who are either discovering new crafts or just sharing things that they've already made. And I don't know, it just feels really nice to have gone from a point of feeling pretty lonely to now having like a very active Discord community where it's like I've got people to talk to all day if I feel like it. And I do. I'm in there pretty often and I get a lot of enjoyment from seeing all of the different crafts that people put there. Fairy Mother Heidi, oh my gosh. I like that name, but I don't like being called anybody's mom because I'm not a mom. I ain't your mom. I'll be a fairy weed mother. The growth has been incredible, and it's such a lovely community, says Space Frostbite, who's also a mod. I have most of the same mod team from Twitch to Discord, too. Just Fairy Heidi? Yeah, that's fine. Heidi's the fun aunt who lives in the woods. I try. Your friends called you Father John in high school? Were you, like, the parent of the group? Were you the dad friend? People are so willing to share their passion and tips, was what else Space Frostbite had to say about our Discord community. And yeah, I agree. That's what makes it so fun for me, is being able to see people helping each other. And a lot of sharing of knowledge and just like sharing in the enjoyment of the crafting process. I feel like it's like my own little crafting circle online between this and Twitch. Between Twitch and Discord. I get to have a little crafting friend. Pixel Lily, thank you for the tier 1 sub. Welcome to the Forest Dwellers. Please also enjoy the Discord community if you haven't already joined. We just had the link up here in the chat a second ago. Yeah, everyone's sharing such cool art and photos, and it's just so wholesome. I'm really happy with that. Change in Reaction says, I don't even craft, I just like the vibes of the community, and that is totally valid. You're valid. You don't have to be a crafts person to join, but, you know, it's all about the appreciation of the craft that really makes it special, I think. Thanks, Dark Wolf Hero. You're the grandpa of your friend group, Revival Jan? I want to see your weaving work. You gotta get back into weaving. You keep talking about it, Jonathan boy. So, you gotta put your money where your mouth is. Do some weaving and let us see it. Pixelily is sewing a very ambitious dress. I am curious to hear more. If you feel like sharing, let us know what you're working on. Jonathan Boy says, I never said I was good at it, just that I did it. Hey, that's what I like to say about my streams. I didn't say I was an expert at this. I just showed you. I just said I was going to show you how to do it. Disclaimer. I'm going to do it in front of you. Didn't say that I knew how. Alright, I'm doing a little bit of extra stitching, crochet stitches to get back further up the stem and make sure that it has a nice even coating to the best of my ability. But look, it's all fuzzy and green now. I thought pipe cleaners would also be a decent base to start with, but I couldn't get out to the store to get any, and I already had this laying around. I know what brand you're talking about, Sans de Fleur, Little Women Atelier. I feel like those kinds of dresses would be, you could start with a historical pattern of like a prairie dress to make that kind of look, for sure. Thanks, Space Frostbite, saying that my stem looks nicely well covered. I'm trying. I've been going at this for like an hour, so let's hope. Try to get it done soon. Yeah, clothing modification is a great way to learn how to sew. That's pretty much how I learned in the beginning, was by going to thrift stores and finding things that I was not too afraid to mess up. I was able to work on it. Okay. Here we go. This is my completed stem for now. I'm going to go ahead and tie off this yarn and cut it. Yay, that's a pretty big step that we made it through that. Yay! Now I have a flowery, or a lit stem, pretty much. We all hold our yarn differently when we crochet, that's for sure. There's no wrong way to do it. My top stitch slipped off the light. That's okay, it's gonna get felted down. Okay, so now we move on to felting, and I'm actually gonna go back to overhead view for this. Thanks for chilling with me while with my face cam. I'll give it a second so you guys can chat with me while you can see me. Okay. Overhead cam. And I'm going to turn the lights off because I don't need them on for this. I'm like afraid that I'll burn them out. Alright, so I'm just winding my extra yarn around a little bit. So we begin the felting process. I'm going to take my gloves off now because I don't need them, and I'm just making my hands comfy again. I also have some prepared cocoons that already have holes in them. You can punch a hole with whatever means you have available to you. I love this. I love this project. Okay, so these are pieces of wool roving that are pieces of fluff. And in this case, we're going to use them. I wonder how that would look with a little bit more of that on it, actually. I'm going to use my lighter green and start wrapping some of this material around where I've crocheted. And I'm basically going to create more of a covering because my crochet has like little holes between the stitches. I have some needles. They're already ready for my felting setup. And so this is a foam work surface. This is some upholstery foam. It's nothing special. It's just a piece of foam that's going to be a surface for me to jam the needle into. We got a highlighted message from Teacup Wife saying, would I ever do any thrift store clothing modifications on stream? Yeah, for sure. I would do that. I just, have so many projects in mind to stream right now. We'll get there. But that's on my to-do list for sure. Okay, so this is wrapped around a portion of that. And now I'm going to take one of these felting needles. The longest one is going to be the coarsest. And I'm going to begin stabbing into the material repeatedly. And so this needle is barbed. It's not a needle with a hole on the end like for sewing. It's just a pokey stick that has little tiny barbs on it. And what it's doing is knotting up the material and causing it to become enmeshed with the yarn that's already on here. Those are great ideas to collect for future streams. Yes, I agree. Stabby time. Which costume did I spend the most time and effort on? Definitely Zelda. I want to revisit. Not that, well, I mean, the costume is fine. There's always things to upgrade, but I want to do more versions of Zelda is really what I'm getting at. I think that she's so much fun. She's my favorite character to cosplay. Okay. So there's a little bit of stem work to be done with just adding more fuzz to everything. And I also really like the color blend that it's giving me to be a little bit more, to have some more variation in there. So I'm just going to keep doing that for a little while longer. And I'm trying to make sure I don't hit the wires for the electronics inside. I don't think that I would do much damage to them because this needle is very dull. And I did this to the other set without having any kind of issues. But I'm also just trying to be mindful to hit it along the edge rather than stabbing straight in. Can I explain a little bit more about felting? Yes. So what are you looking at exactly? What you're looking at is, I could try to show you more of a free-form felted shape. But these barbed wires, not barbed wires, barbed needles, cause the felt to become knotted into itself. And the work surface is basically just allows the needle to push into something. So I can roll this felt along my surface and try to sculpt an image. I need some leaves, which will be flat. But let's see if I can make that. With some heat and some agitation. So is my next Zelda going to be Hyrule Warriors or Breath of the Wild 2? Probably Breath of the Wild 2. I've talked about that a few times. Okay. So, I have another felting tool here that has a bunch of needles attached to it. This does 8 at a time. There's 6 on there right now, but it's a little wooden handle that allows me to stab a lot at a time. And I'm going to end up stabbing my finger because that always happens when I'm felting. So this is what you're looking at, is the needles are causing this loose fluff to turn into felted cloth. And when you're doing a 3D object, you can create 3D sculptures with it. And so the more you stab, the more you're like creating super tiny knots that are like latching the fibers together. And that's what felt is it's just a bunch of fiber that's been compressed through agitation or heat or water, or all three. And then it becomes moldable. So here's a leaf shape. Got a lot more to do on this if I want it to be anything sturdy. But felting is a lot of fun. This is one of my, it's very cathartic. You get your feelings out if you need to. You did Magic Armor / Ruby Army Link from Twilight Princess a couple years back, and you'd love to do another now that you're a little more skilled? For sure. That's always fun to level up and then work on more ambitious stuff. That's one heck of a tool right here, for sure. You went through your fingertip with one of these early on, says Artful Jackalope. That sounds really intense. Oh, I'm glad that this is helpful, that you feel like you're learning things, even if you're just here to hang out. But this is one of the simplest kind of straightforward art forms that it's very easy to understand, and yet there's a lot of opportunity to learn and get better and like add more nuance to your designs. So okay, now I'm applying that exact same principle to what I have started here, which is that I am working on a 3D object now of I've got loose fiber that's getting now latched onto the crocheted base, and it's just becoming tighter and more well covered, I guess you could say. Oh, you're getting back into crafts, Wraith Knight? I'm so glad to hear that. That's awesome. It's really encouraging. So it's kind of like a stripy, twisty pattern that I'm creating because I'm blending into yarn colors. Well, or not yarn, but fiber colors. It's not really blended together. They're just going to be used together. But depending on how much I want to work this, I can spend potentially a lot more time here. I feel like that would eventually become a really boring stream, but I wanted to cover the basics before I start attaching my little cocoon lights. Yeah, Stories of Cassiopeia is in the Discord, but I'd love to see you put your linked cosplay in there, so you should show it to us. Okay, so I'm turning my lights back on, and I'm going to start adding some cocoons from the top and just show you that process and what goes into it. Because at that point I will have pretty much shown the whole craft, even though I have more to work on. Here's some silk fuzz for you. Oh, and that one didn't get a hole in it. This one has a hole in it. Oh, it's dirty. This one's fine. Okay. So now that we've done all of that, we have a stem that's fuzzy and covered in fiber. We have cocoons with holes in them in the bottom. So I'm going to start by fishing this in and trying to make sure that there's some fiber on the inside and the outside. So it's just twisted onto the cocoon. That actually holds pretty well. And the idea is that you felt it through the fiber of the cocoon itself, but that one's on there really nicely, so I don't really need to mess with that one too much more. You just start screwing them on and then securing them with more felt. So this one's not as tight. It's a little bit looser. And the way I'm going to handle that is by putting more felt on the inside and then like pushing it through. Yeah, Kit Bash a Dollhouse says Pixel Lily. That sounds amazing. I missed some of my chat messages here. Yeah, please do share in the Discord. Alohi Doki says I feel like they don't have the right body type for cosplay. I mean, there's opportunities to cosplay whatever you want. If you want to cosplay a Totoro, that sounds fine. If you have a body, then you have the right body for any cosplay. I agree with that sentiment. Space Frostbite. Okay, so now there's wool inside this cocoon as well as outside of it. And I am going to be securing the cocoon onto the stem by felting through the silk. So now pushing this needle through the silk and through the wool, so it's all pushed together. Oh, you can actually see like right down in there because the light is on. Okay. It's a little bit tedious because you gotta make sure that you're getting the things in the right spot, but it's pretty cool. And now I'm gonna go from the other side too. It's hard to break through the silk cocoon a little bit, but once you do, it's pretty nicely attached on there. And so this way I'm able to work the cocoons on without using any adhesive. The fiber is all locked in place together. Whew. And I stabbed myself a little bit. That's a delicate poke setup you got there. Mind the fingers. Yeah, for sure. And I just stabbed myself while trying to read your comments, so. Twitch is dangerous. Ah, pushing through with my tiny anger into these needles, into these cocoons. My tiny angry needle. Alright, that seems pretty good. I'm sure to know that there's nice holes in it. Pushing the fiber in from the top again to make sure that it's really locked in there from both sides. Yeah, it's looking nice, and it's not wobbling around anymore. It's on there for good. So I really like using some of the ones that still have lids attached to them, but I have to poke more holes first. Here's my one weird junky cocoon. Junky! Oh, it is the Alohi you know. Hello! What's a good con to go to for a crafter in LA? That depends. If you're like not into a big anime con, I'm not sure what to do in LA. Oh, there's Costume Con. It's like a historical costuming con. That one's like full of old sewing ladies and stuff. You might like that one. Alohi went to college with me, by the way, everybody. She's a friend of mine from UTA in Arlington, Texas, where we both graduated with degrees in theatrical design. And, oh, Costume Con travels around. Okay. It was in LA around the time that I was living there, but I guess it's not permanently there. Alright, this one feels really secure too, but I'm still gonna add more. Well, that's awesome. You've been more into crafting for D&D. You might, maybe some people in this chat will have more more suggestions for you, because I haven't been to cons in LA since I lived there, but I'm sure that there's a lot of cool opportunities for costume related stuff. Okay, this is giving me a little better leverage now that I have it laying down. And I'm just gripping the cocoon. Now you're hungry for marshmallows? Alright, this is my angry stabbing time of my stream. Welcome to my anger management stream. Just kidding, I'm not gonna get into that stuff. This is my coping strategy for, you know, stuff. Stress relief! Stress relief stream. If you're feeling stressed out, grab yourself some felting supplies and go to town. Get that stress out. Okay, I'm working a little bit more on our top cocoon here because I didn't really put very much effort in just curing it after it was already nice and snug on there. Cosplay your D&D characters. It's always a fun place to start. Oh, the Ren Fair in LA is pretty nice. You might like it. Well, it's not as good as Texas Ren Fairs. I'll have to say that, because Texas Ren Fairs have a lot of those like pre-built buildings. And the LA one doesn't have as many, but it is, I think, one of the historical Ren Fairs in the country, where I think it was like the first one or something like that. So yeah, dress as your D&D character and then go to the Ren Fair and make some friends there. Those are definitely a place to find, that's definitely a place to find crafting buddies. DC Ren Fairs suck. I'm sorry for your pain. Okay, got another one on there. I'm gonna shove some more fuzz into the cocoon. Yeah, costume mashups are really fun for Ren Fairs too, because people don't like, well, people take it seriously at different levels. Like some people take it really seriously and some people don't take it seriously at all. So you get like some fun like crossovers, or I know that wearing Star Trek costumes to Ren Fairs is like kind of a thing. No, they're the product of silkworms. Sorry, Zippity Zoot. How sturdy are the cocoons? They're pretty sturdy. They have whatever type of like chemicals that the worms spit into them to make the silk harden is pretty solid. So like this is a cocoon. I'm applying, you know, minor pressure onto it and there's no give. This is like a shell, and it doesn't, like, I'm squeezing it, it bends a little bit, but that's it. If I crushed it, I could crush it with my hands, but it would literally break rather than becoming squishy. So, FYI, that's how sturdy they are. They're sturdier than they look, at the very least. But it's got a really cool feel to it. Yeah, this is much easier to make now that I'm not laying in a hotel room bed, working on my lap, crying my eyes out. It's a much better experience overall. Alright, I have to pay a little bit more attention to what I'm doing. Alright, there's 4. I'm going to turn off one of these lights briefly and see if that lets it show up. Okay, you see a little bit more of it. You see a little bit more of the internal glow. I do think this is going to look nice as an upright flower as opposed to the bendy kind. Hold on, let me swap my cameras again. Okay, the 2 flowers, the upright kind here versus the bendy kind here, which are both pretty, I think, but I like this. I like what we're working with this time. Alright, I'm going to put this camera back on to keep going, but I feel pretty happy with this progress. Okay, here's another one. Where did I order the cocoons from? They came from the same place as the rest of my felting supplies. So it's Paradise Fibers, but I'm pretty sure they sell on Amazon. So you can search Amazon for silk cocoons and find something. And like I said, they come in tiny packages at Daiso, which is so weird, but if you want to scrub your face with them, you can. I genuinely think that they're just like a byproduct of people eating the worms or the pipas, and then they just have to come up with some way to sell them to the general public. Like, oh, we could convince people that they're special, that you need to wash your face with one of these instead of a normal cloth. And I don't know that it does anything different, but I'm sure that you feel really special when you're like, this is the genuine cocoon of a silkworm that I'm rubbing on my face because I love skincare. And I'm sure that's like really right up somebody's alley. Yes, they're actual cocoons from bugs. Bugs made them. I did not make these. The bugs did. See, you have to like bust through the cocoon. It's like hard. And you bust into it with your needle and then it will start catching and felt in just like whatever. But it takes a little bit of force. Oh gosh, thanks just some guy, TN, saying that he likes the flower in the middle. I appreciate that. Any game I'm anticipating? And I guess that's probably a question for the general chat, but we all know that I'm looking for Breath of the Wild 2. Gotta get my boy Link back. I want to go on an adventure with Link. With my little adventuring outfit. Thank you for your service, small bug friends. For real, they're artists. They made the cocoons, they contributed to my product. I should be crediting them for their contribution. All right, Mr. Karofsky, good luck picking your friends up. Enjoy your night. Thanks for joining us here on the stream and helping out. Link is best boy. He's the hero. He's my hero. Okay, so now I'm gonna bust into my bag of cocoons again and start pulling out ones that aren't too gross looking. This is how they come. They just send you a bunch of bug tombs. And they're just covered in bug fuzz. Oh, this one actually has a bug still in it. Oops. That's not an actual bug. It's just some debris. Alright. These are fine. I'll have to show you guys how I cut the holes in them, but I'll do that in a moment. First, let me pull out my choice new cocoons. This one's long and skinny. It's interesting how they come in different sizes. It looks like a little slipper. Okay, hold on a second. I'll be right back. I need to blow my nose. I still have a runny nose from my adventures in the snow. Okay, I'm back. Do the bugs get a percentage of sales? No, I do not split my profits with the bugs. Okay. So these cocoons, you just pretty much have to like pick some out and then defuzz them a little bit. You can keep them fuzzy, but otherwise you'll just end up with all this cobwebby stuff. Maybe keeping them fuzzy would make that look even more interesting and otherworldly. Maybe I'll selectively add more fuzz back on. I should get a Q-tip or something for these, but I don't think I have any down here, so skip! Oh no, silk cocoons, now with a snack included. I'm not gonna snack on these. We love a good bug capsule that comes with bonus goodies. I agree. Thanks, Plina. The bugs get paid in exposure. Exposure to the air while they're still in pupa form. I'm not gonna eat these. You guys are gross. Alright, Stars of Cassiopeia, see you next time. Let me just dig through my bug pile a little bit more. So you get to see all kinds of unique and interesting new things on this stream. Like sometimes I'm just digging through a bunch of bug tombs. Alright, I think I will go get a Q-tip so I can wipe the insides of these out. I'm trying to get little clean bug homes, please. Alright, bear with me running off camera one more time. I'm gonna dart upstairs and get myself some Q-tips so that I can swab out the interior of my little bitty bug homes, and then I'll continue adding them onto my lights over here. Aries is still upstairs snoozing. I told him to come down and hang out with me on my stream. I told him we were streaming, but I don't know. We'll see if he comes. Okay. Searching sounds off screen. That's right. You heard me. I wonder, use this a tiny bit of water. To collect any of the gunk on the inside. And I'm pulling off cobwebs too, unintentionally. This is actually working pretty well. Everyone be on watch for Aries. Yeah, let me know if he shows up behind me. Bug Fuzz ASMR. Alright, I'm gonna do the bug fuzz right next to the mic. Jonathan says, whenever Heidi does a little giggle, it makes my day a lot happier, but then I immediately grossed him out with the bug sounds. Everyone's like, I hate it. This is cursed. Alright, I'll stop trolling you all. I think it's fun. That made your entire body cringe? I'm sorry. Bug fuzz. BDSM for your ears? I mean, that could be good if that's what you're into. Oh my gosh. Alright, I'll stop making horrible bug scraping noises. At least I won't make them any more than I have to. Welcome to my bug scraping stream where I sit here and scrape the innards out of bug cocoons for your enjoyment. As I'm losing viewers as I say this. Alright, I'm moving on. Okay, I'm gonna put the rest of these cocoons away from now because I have a batch to work with and I can pull out more later. So let me just shove this mass. They're all like stuck together because of the bug fuzz. Let me just shove this bug fuzz back into a bag and move on with my day. And eventually wrap this up. Okay, so the other tools that I went and got were, this is a craft tool punch. It's originally for leather, but you can use it for a variety of things, including this, and then I got a mallet to work with. And this is a cutting surface, so we're okay on that. Now, this is basically going to punch a hole, and because this is round, I can shove it in the top of the cocoon, do a little tap tap, and then boom, I just bust a little hole right there in the bottom of it. And is that the right good size? I think this might be slightly large actually. I'm gonna go get a slightly smaller version of this, but that's all it takes to bust my little hole in the cocoon. Alright, this is a slightly smaller hole. Not a huge difference, but slightly. That's right, if you have your tap tap emote, the original emote that I had back in the day for my leatherworking streams. Now is your time to shine! Oops, I like jammed that one all the way down into my tabletop, but that's okay. Oh my gosh, did I just cut out a chunk of my tabletop. Like this honestly went all the way through the cutting board. Alright, good to know. Don't cut that much out because I just cut out a little circle slice. Perfect. Just a quick tap. Just a light tap. Don't cut a chunk out of your cutting board. Got it! That's crazy. I can't believe that. That is a hole that goes straight down through the top. Alright, well, now I know that there's a limit to how much force I can use on this. Alright. Getting my cocoons tapped. Yeah, they just don't require very much force. I'm so used to going through leather that I'm just like, oh, let me make sure it's like really in there. And then I did not need that. Heidi's power is too much. I have another one of these that I got for cheap. It's on the floor. I found it at a thrift store and it was brand new in the packaging that had been like shipped to somebody who ordered it online. And then I guess they never did anything with it and then dropped it off at the thrift store eventually. And I bought it for $10. So this is why I'm obsessed with thrifting. Okay. This cocoon was kind of loose and I was gonna stuff it with some fuzz and keep going. Leatherwork has made me strong. I hope so. Not as strong as I need to be. I got more to learn. Okay, let me wrap some fuzz around this little light. And shove the... That one was too open, so let's try this one. I'm gonna twist it in the same direction that I had just put more fuzz on with. Okay, cool. Cool, cool, cool. And there is ready to get stabbed. Felt it. Felt it like you mean it. There we go. That's really getting it in there. Okay, cool. Back to the other side. Cool. I forgot this actually goes relatively quickly once you kind of have your groove. So that's where I'm at. Going back on this side. Stab, stab, stab. That would be an interesting emote, the stabby emote for when I go into stabbing mode and just spend my stream stabbing a bunch of tiny silk cocoons. Crafting is dangerous. I shouldn't be trying to read my chat while I have a tiny little stabby tool so close to my fingers. This is why you have a first aid kit in your art bin. That's smart. Alright, each one is another little flower bulb on our delightful little design here. Add more fluff first. Yandere Heidi's stabbing emote. I don't know. I feel like that would be taken out of context in a way I wouldn't want. Ooh, alright. Oh, you know what? I forgot I didn't add felt all the way down the stem. That's also fine. I can add a little bit more here and there where I feel like it's necessary because this is a sparse patch. But it's really just a matter of making sure your pieces are sufficiently felted together with enough fiber to kind of glue it in or lock it in. You would have stabbed yourself at least 15 times so far. Luckily, I've already stabbed myself a lot when trying to felt. And so now it looks like I'm having a high success rate because I've already gotten all of those wounds out of the way. I usually do pretty well and then I get cocky and by the end of my project I like stab myself really good at least one time. Because I'm like, oh yeah, I got this. Hell yeah, I'm making a good pace. And then you lure yourself into a false sense of security. Yay! I like this. What's your worst crafting injury? Definitely something either hot glue or knife related. I'm trying to think if I've ever like really gotten my fingers really good with anything. I feel like hot glue has been the worst for me, which is usually not like a single bad injury, but more like just over the course of working with hot glue for like a whole crafting session, your fingers just end up feeling like raw by the end if you're using them to touch even like slightly heated glue. Or maybe it's just me. You soldered the feelings out of 3 fingers? That's terrible. Otherwise, oh, I got myself really good with a steamer one time without realizing just how powerful it was. I burned my shoulder and it was really small, but it was an actual scar. I don't know if I still have it because it was like somewhere right in here. I don't really see it. But it did stay as a mark for a little while because I like accidentally touched my steamer head to it. So probably that. Or iron burns. Iron burns are actually worse. I've accidentally touched my hot iron multiple times. You don't get snacky by doing all this work? What do you mean? I don't think I follow. You might have to explain that one. But I don't know. I have some friends who've had some really terrible crafting injuries, so like stuff that is, are not joking matters. So, you know, I feel very lucky that I haven't had any serious injuries related to creation. Snacky, get some snacks. Oh, that's true. I'm sure, you know, I'm starting to get mildly hungry, but I'm also getting to a point where I'm like ready to kind of finish up the stream, so I'm like, I'll hang on till the end. Be nice to those who work in retail. I completely agree. Retail was like the only real type of like normal ass job I've really had. It was miserable. Be nice to retail workers, because most people aren't. Their lives are very tiresome dealing with those rude people. So I try to do my best to just make eye contact, smile, even just doing like simple things of treating them like a human and not as a robot that's just completing a transaction. It really goes a long way. Get some Kind bars, they're delicious. They are good. Should probably start bringing some stream snacks around, something that I can eat without interrupting my craft too much. Then I'll just swap over to social eating and keep hanging out. Alright, Space Frostbite heading out. Thank you for joining us on the stream. And also, Pixel Lily, have a great rest of your evening. I probably won't be streaming for like a ton longer, so you guys saw the best stuff. I need my snacks. But otherwise, I've been really productive on the stream and enjoying it a lot. So thank you guys for joining me today. I'm going to start from the outside. I feel like that tends to go a little bit better when I stab it from the outside first. Teacup Wife says it's so beautiful. You want to make something like this? Go for it. You can copy this design exactly, as long as it's for personal use. I don't mind. But yeah, this has been one of my favorite kind of like original designs that I've done in quite some time. I got the silk cocoons to use in wet felting because I had seen some incorporated into wet felted artworks and clothing that I thought were just super beautiful. And then after they arrived and I was messing around with them, I thought, oh my gosh, these would be wonderful with little lights inside of them because of the way that they're cut. It looks very eerie and like, I don't know, otherworldly in some way. So yeah. But I like how like fuzzy and creepy they are. Because you can just tell that a bug made it. It reminds you of something from Zelda. You want to drop a pic in the Discord? Alright. Go for it. Oh, are they the lit up flowers from the Breath of the Wild game? Because that also inspired me, for real. But I think I'm just thinking of the Blue Nightshade or the Silent Princess are both the glowy flowers. Alright. I like how this one's like extra fluffy and weird. I guess I could probably put like white felt on the inside to make it even more, I don't know, light reflective or something like that. Oh, the princess lilies. I think those are the silent princess flowers. You done it? That is cool. Alright, I feel like I didn't apply every cocoon, but I feel like I'm really at the end of my streaming energy for right now. I'm gonna swap my cameras back. Been going for almost 3 hours, which I thought is a pretty good time to show off all of this. And the only unfinished part of this is just adding more cocoons. So I might do that off camera, or I might continue on with this stream. Oh, and I would like to add leaves too. So there might be a part 2 of this stream. But I feel like if you watch this video, then you at least get the basics for what goes into this, and that should be enough information to make your own if that is how you're feeling. And so these are my fairy light flowers from today. And it's time for me to get a snack. I am feeling snacky, actually, for whoever was that asked. So yeah, I'm gonna go get my snack now. Thanks for joining me today. I will be back with more streams. I'm gonna try to keep my streak of doing daytime weekday streams up. So thanks for joining me, and I'll be back tomorrow. I might tweet a little bit about what projects are on my radar. Maybe I'll just pick something. But all right, thank you guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye.